A farmer takes her 3 sons to the doctor for a medical exam for the first time in their lives. The doctor examines the boys and tells the woman that they are healthy, but she needs to give them iron supplements. She goes home and wonders exactly what iron supplements are. Finally, she goes to the hardware store and buys iron ball bearings and mixes them into their food. Several days later, the youngest son comes to her and tells her that he is pissing ball bearings. She tells him that it is normal because she had put them in his food. Later, the middle son comes to her and says that he is crapping ball bearings. Again, she says that it is okay. That evening, the eldest son comes in very upset. He says, "Mom, you won't believe what happened." She says, "I know, you're passing ball bearings." "No," he says. "I was out behind the barn jerking off, and I shot the dog." On their way to a justice of the peace to get married, a couple has a fatal car accident. The couple is sitting outside Heaven's Gate waiting on St. Peter to do the paperwork so they can enter. While waiting, they wonder if they could possibly get married in heaven. St. Peter finally shows up and they ask him. St. Peter says, "I don't know, this is the first time anyone has ever asked. Let me go find out." And he leaves. The couple sit for a couple of months and begin to wonder if they really should get married in heaven. What with the eternal aspect of it all? What if it doesn't work out? They wonder. Are we stuck together forever? St. Peter returns after yet another month, looking somewhat bedraggled. "Yes," he informs the couple, "you can get married in heaven." "Great," says the couple, "but what if things don't work out? Could we also get a divorce in heaven?" St. Peter, red-faced, slams his clipboard onto the ground. "What's wrong?" exclaims the frightened couple. "Geez," St. Peter exclaims, "it took me 3 months to find a priest up here. Do you have any idea how long it's going to take for me to find a lawyer?" "May I help you?" she asked. "I want to see Penny," the man replied. "Sir, Penny is one of our most expensive ladies. Perhaps you would prefer someone else," said the madam. "No, I must see Penny," was the man's reply. Just then, Penny appeared and announced to the man that she charged $1,000 a visit. Without hesitation, the man pulled out 10 $100 bills, gave them to Penny, and they went upstairs. After an hour, the man calmly left. The next night, the same man appeared again, demanding to see Penny. Penny explained that no one had ever come back 2 nights in a row, too expensive, and there were no discounts. The price was still $1,000. Again, the man pulled out the money, gave it to Penny, and they went upstairs. After an hour, he left. The following night, the man was there again. Everyone was astounded that he had come for the 3rd consecutive night, but he paid Penny and they went upstairs. After their romp, Penny questioned the man. "No one has ever been with me 3 nights in a row. Where are you from?" she asked. The man replied, "South Carolina." "Really?" she said. "I have family in South Carolina." "I know," the man said. "Your father died, and I am your sister's attorney. She asked me to give you your $3,000 inheritance." The moral of the story is that 3 things in life are certain. 1. Death. 2. Taxes. 3. Being screwed by a lawyer. A woman was in bed with her lover when she heard her husband opening the front door. "Hurry," she said. "Stand in the corner." She quickly rubbed baby oil all over him and then dusted him with talcum powder. "Don't move until I tell you to," she whispered. "Just pretend you're a statue." "What's this, honey?" the husband inquired as he entered the room. "Oh, it's just a statue," she replied nonchalantly. "The Smiths bought one for their bedroom. I liked it so much, I got one for us too." No more was said about the statue, not even later that night when they went to sleep. Around 2 in the morning, the husband got out of bed, went to the kitchen, and returned a while later with a sandwich and a glass of milk. "Here," he said to the statues. Eat something. I stood like an idiot at the Smiths for 3 days, and nobody offered me as much as a glass of water. A man is having marital problems, so decides to see a therapist. The man says, "I don't know what to do. Every day my wife seems to lose her temper with me for no reason. It's getting worse," he says. "I tell her that other women I work with don't act crazy the way she does, but she doesn't listen." The therapist thinks for a moment, then says, "I think I have an answer for your problem. When it seems that your wife is getting angry, just take a glass of water and start swishing it in your mouth. Just swish and swish, but don't swallow it until she either leaves the room or calms down." 2 weeks later, the man goes back to the therapist looking fresh and reborn. The man says, "You know, that was a brilliant idea. Every time my wife started berating me, I swished with water. I swished and swished and swished, and after a few minutes she calmed right down. How does a glass of water do that?" The therapist says, "The water itself does nothing. It's keeping your mouth shut that does the trick." A man gets on a bus and sits next to a mother with child. The mother is trying to get her fussy son to breastfeed, and she finally gets frustrated and tells the baby, "You better take to the milk, or I'll give it to this man sitting here." She tries a few more minutes, but the baby is still just very fussy. She tells the baby again, "You need to start soon, or I'll give your milk to this man sitting here." She continues to try to get her babe to start feeding, and finally, in a stern tone, tells the babe, "This is the last warning, you need to stop being fussy, or I'll give your milk to this man sitting here." The man finally gets exasperated and says, "Lady, you need to make up your mind. I was supposed to get off the bus 3 stops back." There was a worldwide survey of most embarrassing moment in human life. The finale had the following 3 incidents. 3rd place. It was the day before my 18th birthday. I was living at home, but my parents had gone out for the evening, so I invited my girlfriend over for a romantic night alone. As we lay in bed after making love, we heard the telephone ringing downstairs. I suggested to my girlfriend that I give her a piggyback ride to the phone. Since we didn't want to miss the call, we didn't have time to get dressed. When we got to the bottom of the stairs, the lights suddenly came on, and a whole crowd of people yelled, "Surprise!" My entire family, aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins, and all of my friends were standing there. My girlfriend and I were frozen to the spot in a state of shock and embarrassment for what seemed like an eternity. Since then, no one in my family has planned a surprise party again. 2nd place. While in line at the bank one afternoon, my kid decided to release some pent-up energy and started to run amok. I was finally able to grab hold of her after receiving looks of disgust and annoyance from other patrons. I told her that if she didn't start behaving herself right now, she would be punished. To my horror, she looked me in the eye and said in a voice just as threatening, "If you don't let me go right now, I will tell Grandma that I saw you kissing Daddy's pee-pee last night." The silence was deafening after this enlightening exchange. Even the tellers stopped what they were doing. I mustered the last of my dignity and walked out of the bank with my daughter in tow. The last thing that I heard as the door closed behind me were the screams of laughter. And the winner is, this one actually happened at Harvard University in October last year. In a biology class, the professor was discussing the high glucose levels found in semen. A young female freshman raised her hand and asked, "If I understand what you are saying, there is a lot of glucose in male semen, as in sugar." "That's correct," responded the professor, going on to add much statistical data. Raising her hand again, the sweet young thing asked, "Then why doesn't it taste sweet?" After a stunned silence, the whole class burst out laughing. The poor girl turned bright red, And as she realized exactly what she had inadvertently said, or rather implied, she picked up her books without a word and walked out of the class and never returned. However, as she was going out of the door, the professor's reply was a classic. Totally straight-faced, he answered her question. It doesn't taste sweet because the taste buds for sweetness are on the tip of your tongue and not in the back of your throat.